So we live in a suburban area where there are houses next to our houses, and it all just started building on top of cropland one after another. And my parents was one of the first houses on this block, so it was just cropland before they started to build here. And we don't know if our ghost that started haunting this house was just died on this land, or he just found his way into our home, making himself comfortable. And my family, at the time, there was only 5 of us here. At the moment, there's only 4 of us, and if you count our 2 dogs now, it's 6 of us, but my mother was reading, and in between a line of her reading, she heard a knock close to the door, but the door was open. So normally the rule in our house is we'd have to knock on the door or knock on the wall next to the door. Her knowing the rule of the house, she told whoever it was to come in. A few seconds later, nobody came in. She had forgotten about it, but she heard a knock again, and she was more strict this time, telling whoever it was to come in, because whenever we'd have nightmares, we'd normally knock on her door to let us in so we'd sleep with her. But when she got up to see, being agitated, she saw nobody there. Now, this wasn't her first encounter with Harold, but this was the one she told us, like, for the first time in forever. She's told us so many before. When my oldest brother was, like, little and only in middle school, and my sister and my 3rd oldest brother were just, like, babies. And it really freaked her out, bringing back those memories of when the first real encounter she had with our ghost named Harold. I started thinking that our ghost, Harold, was more active in my room, because when we were young, me and my sister used to share this room, and we'd always be afraid of our closet. We would never sleep with it open. We had a deadbolt on it. We were afraid of the closet, and we had a deadbolt on our closet door because my parents never wanted us going through it in the middle of the night to get anything. And the more we started getting older, the more we started using it so that we wouldn't have to sleep with the door open and that we'd feel more safe with it closed. The first really big encounter was with my brother because he could see our ghost. My uncle told my mom that he had lost his touch to feel anything about people and to, like, feel any ghosts nearby because of the incident that happened with my brother when he got too close to a garbage bin full of glass that had broke, and it tipped over. But all of a sudden, the garbage can just, like, completely slid to the other side of the room without anybody touching it. And when they had asked my brother, do you know who did that? Did anybody do that? He's like, yeah, he did that. And just completely pointed to a ball of air. My mom was upstairs doing work and doing the dishes and going up and downstairs to make sure everything gets done for when my 2 brothers were at school. And when she had gone downstairs, she had heard talking. She thought maybe my dad had left the radio on in the garage on, because he'd sometimes use it as an alarm to, like, wake him up to get ready for work. But when she had gone in the garage, the radio wasn't on. So then she started thinking, where is it coming from? And as she went back into the house and she crossed the basement door, she heard the talking coming down from there. And then she started thinking, oh, maybe the boys left their radio on, as the alarm was just like the natural radio. And we used to have that alarm too, but we had gotten rid of it. And it'd just be where it'd play the music on radio stations and everything like that. So she thought maybe a radio station is on and they just forgot to turn it off. So she had opened the basement door. She, like, looked down there and started listening and realizing that it wasn't a radio station or it wasn't music. It was like 2 people having a conversation. She was listening in on it and she said, like, hello? She had grabbed a knife at that point, because this wasn't anything that could produce music or a radio station. It was two people in her house that she didn't know how they even gotten in. And she said hello. When she was waiting for a response, everything just like went quiet downstairs. And when she was like waiting and becoming more scared of what would happen, like she felt like something close to her brush up against her, like a shock of wind like blow past her, and she just like slammed the door and locked it. And when she ran upstairs to go see if my brother was alright, she had gone up the stairs and was just like sitting there, and when she had turned, a piece of her hair was just like lifting up completely. It wasn't like wind just like blowing past her and then like it lift up. It was like one piece of hair was just being held up by something. And when she was looking for my brother came out of his room and said, "It's okay." He says, "Don't be afraid." And my mom was like, "Who said that?" He had said, "That, the guy." And my mom was just so scared to the point she grabbed my sister and my brother and took him out for a car ride for the rest of the day. And she had called my dad hysterically, saying, "I'm not going in that house. Something happened when I went downstairs, and I went back upstairs, and Riley said he saw something, and I'm not going in that house." And my dad was trying to calm her down. And when school had gotten out for my siblings, she had to get him, and then she went back to the house, but she didn't let him go downstairs in the basement, and she just waited for my dad to get home. My dad said maybe the alarm's batteries ran out the moment you said hello, or else just maybe you left the TV on. And he tried making so many excuses for it, but my mom was just like, no, it couldn't have been that. It was so distinctive to voices talking to each other. It could not have been a radio or an alarm going off. My mom has always asked me, because I've had little encounters of him still pushing around things in my room when I'm upstairs or downstairs. And my mom's like, if he ever bothers you to the point where you're done with it and you want him out, we could always get incense and try and do something about it. It's not to a point where he's scratching on my back every night and leaving claw marks through my back, or bruises, or throwing stuff rapidly across the room. It's not that bad to the point where you want to get rid of him, but it's a little bit bad to the point where it might make you jump every once in a while. When we had first gotten Sophie, she wasn't really allowed upstairs so that she could be used to the house and that she wouldn't have any accidents. But the more we started letting her sleep with us and going into our rooms upstairs, the more she started to become attached to my parents' closet. And one day we were looking for her, and my mom was upstairs doing the laundry, and when she went into her room, she found Sophie just completely looking at the corner of their closet that had hangers and a dress covering it, and she was just looking at it. And when my mom started calling her, she completely only turned her head around, looked at my mom, and then looked back at it, and she started barking, scratching at that corner of the closet. It'd be something was there. And that freaked my mom out to where she drag her out of there, close her room door and everything, and just stay out of there. Maybe he's just migrated to a different part of the house, but they just don't see him there. My dog was not the only one who started doing this. It was my other dog too. The more she started coming upstairs, she'd do the exact same routine that Sophia had done, where she'd look at the corner of the room, start barking at it, and then scratching, or else she'd completely just sit there until somebody got her attention to come downstairs. My dad just started making up random names for it because we didn't know if it was a girl or a guy or any kind of bad spirit in the house. And my dad just came up with the name Harold. And my mom had told him, it's not good to name spirits or ghosts because they'll start to get more attached to this house or families. Sometimes when I go downstairs late at night to fill up my water or else to take something I forgot upstairs, I feel like I see something in the corners of our living room, but I just know that's always shadows playing with me. Or else when I look into my sister's room, which is now downstairs in the basement, I always feel like something's looking at me through the cracked open basement door because she leaves it open so that air will get down there. And I always just feel like something's watching me when I pass by it. Or else when I just go downstairs and peep down the staircase, I just feel like something's right around the corner and is just looking at me.
Hey, see you in the next story.